Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the transfer window and giving you my overall thoughts on it. Before we get into that though, make sure you do hit that button down below because we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers as quick as possible. So the way this is going to work is I'm just going to have a look at transfer marked, all the players who have gone out, all the players who have come in, and I'm going to give each one of them a rating out of 10. And then I am going to, of course, average that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do averages for departures, averages for incomings, so we get an idea of the kind of scale of things, who we've let go, who we've brought in, and then I will do an average of both of them at the end. So the first one we're going to do is Jorginho Rutter. Now, Jorginho Rutter obviously left for Brighton for around £40 million. For Leeds, that is a massive blow in terms of the player he was, player he is, and in terms of how much money that we're going to get for him. So, look, the compensation is not bad. It gives us something to go off, and I think what it does is allows us to spend money elsewhere in the future. So Jorginho, for me, it's a 5 out of 10 because on one hand you got very good money for him, on the other hand you lost a very good player. So they balance each other out. I think it's going to be a 5 out of 10. And I'm just going to write these down because otherwise I've got no chance of remembering them, have I, at all. Archie Gray next. Archie Gray then, another one for £40 million to Spurs. Homegrown player, very disappointing to lose him. But again, we were so well compensated for the loss of Archie Gray. So I think, again, it's going to be another 5 out of 10. Look, people might think that that is generous. But what I'm doing is saying I hated to lose Archie Gray. I thought he could have been one of our best ever players if we'd have kept him. But the situation we're in the Championship is that we can't say no to £40 million, or 30 odd million pounds rising to £40 million. So it's a 5 out of 10 because it balances out in terms of if we're stepping away from the emotional side of it. Now, next was Crescencio Somerville. Now, Crescencio Somerville, 25 million. Considering the season he had last season, probably a better season than Archie Gray and Jorginho Rutter, and we only got 25 million for him. I'm going to have to give that one a 4 out of 10 because I do believe that the player was potentially worth more money if we'd have held on to him for another year or so. It's difficult to kind of to put that. Luis Sinisterra. Now, Luis Sinisterra, of course, left. And we've only just had the money through for him. So we're still going to count him as part of this. And I think this one's going to be like a 7 or an 8 because he's very injury prone. He didn't want to play for us anyway, and we still got about 20 odd million out of him. So I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. So that is a 7 out of 10 there. Glenn Kamara, we doubled our money on him, and we've brought in, we'll have the context in a little while of the replacements, but we've brought in a replacement for him who could be potentially a lot better than him. So I think, again, Glenn Kamara, I think actually I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10 because at the time I thought that's a terrible transfer, but with the context of the rest of the window, we've doubled the money that we paid for him and we're allowing Altanaka to come in and take his place. So I think you've got to take that into consideration. Now, Mark Rocco. Then you've got Charlie Cresswell, and then you've got Diego Llorente. I think, look, Mark Rocco, 4.5 million to Real Betis, and Diego Llorente, 3.25 million euros, that is, to Real Betis. It's not very much money, but we needed rid. They weren't very good anymore. Fine, take them away from us. I'm going to give them both a 6 out of 10. Because I believe there's potential that we could have had more money for them, and we didn't really get that. So then you look at Robin Koch. Now, Robin Koch was a free transfer, and it's a terrible deal. We've lost money. We let him go out on a free in the end. I think that's like a 1 out of 10. Really bad to lose that, and obviously that came down to the release clauses and stuff. Charlie Cresswell, I'm upset about as well. I don't think we were compensated well enough, so I think that's going to be a 3 out of 10 for that loss. I'm just not really happy about that at all. We had then a whole host of free transfers, including Liam Cooper going out. I think we'll rank all of those in a oneer because we've got some loans that have gone out as well. So what I'm talking about is Cody Drama, Christopher Clarkson, Jamie Shackleton, Luke Ayling, Ian Pervada, Rasmus Christensen. I think... Oh, actually, Rasmus Christensen's still a loan, so we'll go down to Ian Pervada then, or Jan Pervada. All in all, to let them all go out on a free, I think that's another 4 out of 10. I'm just going to put 4 out of 10. I'm ranking them all the same, 4 out of 10. We needed to get rid of some of the deadwood, including like Jan Pervada and maybe Clarkson and Shackleton as well, who I like Shackleton, but his career wasn't really going anywhere at Leeds. So that's going to go down to those with a free 4 out of 10. So let's now go on to incomings, because this is where it starts to get a little bit more positive. That part of the video was very depressing, but this part should be a little bit more positive. If we go on to incomings, Joe Rodon, £10 million. I'm going to say that is a 7 out of 10. I don't believe potentially he's worth that much. I've got reservations about his passing ability if we do get promoted to the Premier League. So 7 out of 10 is above average, good deal. Now, Laji Ramazani. And look, we haven't seen a massive amount of him. We've seen like 20 minutes at the end of a game. But from what I saw then, from the research I did, from the scout report I did, which is on the channel, if you want to check that out afterwards and you haven't seen it already, Laji Ramazani looks like an absolute bargain for that price. I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic deal to bring him in. I think he's going to be so good for us. Jayden Bogle, or Baden Jogle as I like to sometimes call him, 5.95 million euros, so £5 million. I think that's a good deal. I think that is a good deal. I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10 as well, because, look, he is a decent championship player. Not potentially the best player that you could have got. He's not somebody who I think would do well in the Premier League because of his defensive issues that he's had. I think he's decent, but I don't think he's perfect, so that's why Jayden Bogle gets a 7 out of 10. Now, Altanaka. Altanaka has been somebody that Daniel Farke has wanted for so long, and he's finally got him. And in that 8 minutes that he played, something like that, he made more passes. He made just a few less passes than Hull's entire team did the entire game. So, I mean, to get him for £3.6 million pounds or something like that is ridiculous. I'm 9 out of 10. I was going to give him a 10, but we haven't seen enough of him yet. Isaac Schmidt. Look, from what I've seen and from what I've researched, Isaac Schmidt is somebody who's going to be fantastic for us. I haven't seen any of him yet, and I think we brought him in for around £3 million, rising to 4.6 or something like that. I think he's going to be great for us. I can't quite tell what's going to happen yet because we haven't even seen him play a minute for Leeds, so I'm going to give that one, for me, an 8 out of 10 based on the research that I've done, based on what I've seen about him. Alex Cairns, goalkeeper, of course, from Salford League 2, used to play for Leeds years and years ago. It's a very, let's fill a hole because, what's his face? I've forgotten him already and he's only just gone. Christopher Clarkson went to Rocco Czestochowa. So, look, it's bang average. It's 5 out of 10 for me. It fills a hole. It's free. Fine. That's absolutely fine. I think it was free anyway, or next to nothing, really. Solomon coming in from Tottenham on a loan. Obviously, it's a loan deal, so it's not going to be the best thing in the world. You can't keep him, all that sort of thing. I'm going to say that it's going to be a 7 out of 10. He's played in Europa League. He's played in the Premier League. He's done well before. Let's see how well he does in the rest of his time at Leeds. Joe Rothwell from Bournemouth. Again, I think that one's going to be a 6 out of 10. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's someone who's going to completely change our season. But it's a loan, so it gets bumped up a little bit to a 6 out of 10. Those are our main actual signings. Of course, we've had people like Brendan Aronson coming back from a loan, but that doesn't really count. But I'm going to go away now, and we're going to count up the averages, and then we're going to see how that sets us up, and whether our outgoings are worse than our ingoings or whatever. So you'll see me in a second. So I've done some quick maths. Outgoings on average 4.9. So on average, literally average, 5 out of 10 pretty much. 4.9 out of 10 on our outgoings. Could have been so much better, potentially could have been worse. And yeah, so 4.9 out of 10, pretty average for our outgoings. Incomings, 7.25 out of 10. So I've put us at 7.25 out of 10 for incomings, because I think it's been much better incomings than our outgoings, and not in terms of quality of players, but in terms of business that we've done. When you take the average of both of those, that puts us at 6.075 for the transfer window. So that means that I am rating the transfer window 6 out of 10. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. You could even do this whole exercise if you wanted to, and then obviously you'll know this, but add all of the numbers up that you added together and then divide them by the amount you added, get your averages, put them in the comments down below, and see what you rank the transfer window when you actually go through the players. If you go to Transfermarkt, Leeds United, it'll say arrivals and departures. You can see them all, and you can go through and see what you would rank each one. If you want to, if you've got a minute while you're having a brew or something, have a look through and see what you rank the transfer window when it actually comes down to the numbers. Yeah, that's just been a kind of, let's have a look at how the transfer window went. A 6 out of 10 in the end for me, which is actually less than I would have said if I'd have just said it off my gut. But when I'm going through individual players, at least it's a slightly more scientific way of looking at things. But yeah, that's my rating of the transfer window, 2024-25 season, the summer window. Leeds United's transfer window for me has been a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.